back with another cruise episode. I know that it's been a little while, but I'm stoked to be back. And today we've got a banger.
I have been waiting so long to get these things onto this 75 series.
Our cruiser, if you've seen it in real life, it's actually got a little bit of a Cali lean. The front is sitting nice, where the back is, well, we've got a big canopy.
Well, it's a big canopy. There's a lot of weight at the back. We put a lot of stuff in the back of this, and unfortunately, she just sags a little bit at the back.
So, big thanks to our friends at Airbag Man. They have sent us out a whole bunch of goodies. These are actually our airbags. So basically, this is our unit here. I'll come a little bit closer so you can see. We've got two of these. We've got our two bolts, and then there'll be a line in. So these are going to be awesome. And then in here, we've just basically got a whole bunch of wiring, whole bunch of airlines, solenoids. What have you got there?
Looks like we've got some work to do.
Oh, yeah.
Wiring kit. We've got some little joiners.
So how big is that air tank?
That big. That looks amazing. Wow.
Well, we've got a whole lot of gear, so let's get into it. To start with, it's actually a pretty in-depth kit, so we want to give you a bit of a run through. We've had to print off the instructions just so we can, work out what to do. You can actually have these airbags here that Dad's got. You can put them in, and then you can actually just run the lines to the back of the car, and then you can manually plug in your air compressor, and it'll lift up the back. But this system is a little bit more in detail because we've got an air compressor and we've also got a two-way switch, which means we can do it the manual way, but we can also, with a flick of a button, add air in and then deflate our bags, and obviously the air tank as well.
First thing we're doing is fitting the airbag. Before we do that, we've got to remove the actual bump stop. Out she comes. 75's not exactly new. Rusty bolt. Unfortunately, we've snapped that bolt there. So it's out with the tap and die and cut a new thread.
As with everything, everything's a bit rusty, so it takes twice as long as you think it's going to take. But we're getting there.
I moved on to creating a bracket to house the bolts for the manual inflate and deflate. I used some right angle aluminium and then drilled a few holes. I painted it black and then attached it to the tag tow bar. The ports slide from behind and then tighten with a nut. The bolts were actually quite long, so I used a grinder to shorten the thread.
Now that that's all done, I'm going to actually start running some wire, some airline. So they give you a whole bunch of airline, so I'm going to start running it from where Dad is going to be putting in the airbag on this side to here. I'll give myself some extra length and then we'll cut it, and we'll wait till the actual airbag's in before we do the final installation. We've got enough to be able to do that, so we've got ample. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take some drastic steps because we're trying to get the U-bolts off, and they just will not come. So we're going to have to cut those U-bolts, which Dad's just grinding now, and then we'll just get some new U-bolts. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but it's all part of working on an old car. So I'm just doing a bit of pre-assemble on our actual airbags. This is our bottom bracket. That basically sits underneath, bolts in from the top. So we've got our top bracket, which is this one here. There's actually a heat shield. So we've got this little thing. So we'll put the heat shield on too. There's our heat shield. And that'll go just like that. As easy as that. Well, I'm on the driver's side, so we just finished putting in the airbag. I've just done the bolts up. I've already run. So this here is the first cable line. Dad's getting a crack on the other one, and I'm going to start with a couple of the T-junction, T-splitters, whatever you want to call them. Hopefully we can get this thing wired up, or aired up, I should say, pretty quick. Also, I don't know whether you can tell or not, but we're upping our audio game, so we've even got these new DJI, hello, testing, bit of ASMR. Hopefully the sound is a whole lot better, especially where our workshop, we're on a busy main road, so we often get cars and there's a lot of background noise, so hopefully this fixes it, but let me know in the comments what you reckon.
We're reconnecting the diff shackles. Now what's happened, we've loosened everything off, and that diff, as they always do, they kind of move a little bit. So this side here is back about, probably 1.5 inches. So I've got to move this diff forward so it lines up with the center bolt in the diff so it all lines up again. So what we're going to do, we're going to use our TGM winch. We're going to pull it out, we're going to hook that over the diff, winch it forward, only need about that much. Okay, we've got our soft shackle. What we're going to do is wrap it around the center of the diff. It's not going to hurt anything. We'll put our soft shackle on. All right, that's on. All that's going to do is pull that diff. And as you can see, I can even pull it there, but not enough. And here we go. We got to tighten it up. There we go. Can you see that move? Perfect. We're going to tighten it all up. Then we'll let you. We're going to tighten the bolts up just to make sure they stay in the right position.
The airbags are actually in. We haven't done in here, in this little nook is where we've got our battery, our compressor. Looks like we got a leak, Dad.
It's going straight down.
It might be the valve though. It might be that, because we haven't got it connected on the end. I'll just check.
Just check.
Yeah, it's here. What's actually happening is we haven't put in the canopy yet any of the air compressor or the air tank. Now we've run our lines and there was it's like a 3-way joiner connector, and we're hoping that there might be a return valve. That means that we can still right now, even while nothing else is connected, still test out the airbag. We found out that that is not the case, because this line here, which is our right side airline airbag, and now we have no air in that airbag. So this is my Yeti bottle that I got, and my lovely wife. If you've got a cricket machine, they're amazing, but printed JRC Adventures on it. So it's like my custom Yeti bottle. Which is in Yeti. Oh. Yeah, but he doesn't have JRC Adventures on his.
It's coming. It's coming.
He said no, actually.
No way, it's coming. It's coming. I want the logo on there. So I'm going to just cross out the Yeti and just put JRC Adventures.
Big thanks to my good friend, Mr. Matthew Howard from Avenue, who made this logo for us. And we even got a couple of little shirts. We're nowhere near big enough yet to even think about selling anything. So if you want one, just message me. All of our air lines run into this, and then it's got 2 electrical connectors, one for the left side, one for the right side, because we've got 2 switches that you can go up and down and make each side do its thing. I've actually got a little bracket. It's literally just a kind of a right angle bracket, as you can see there. So I'm just putting this together. I've already put on the connections, and it's just ready for the lines to go in basically. We're not going to be able to wire everything up today, but in our little compartment in the canopy, which is basically where all our 12 volts going, we have the air tank in, we've got the compressor in, we're just about to put our final switch, or the mechanism in as well. It's been a couple of days since that last clip that you just saw, and I've been back at home and basically finishing off the airbags. So where we've got to is I've actually put in the switches. I've mounted the compressor, mounted the air tank, wired all that up. We've also mounted the outlet. So that's here, this is where you can plug in your airline, and we've also got the Airbag Man dual gauge as well. Now we've tested everything works manually and it works electronically. Now I haven't finished wiring up the electronics for this stuff just yet, purely because I've actually got to wire up the whole canopy, and it'll all be going to our XGM control box, but that'll be all being done in a later episode. It works, we've tested it, we've actually been able to raise the back manually, and it's just made an absolute difference. I've driven it a couple of times. One, the look is perfect, but two, just the ride, just find that it's a whole lot softer. Before, if you hit a bump, you could just really hear and feel the back digging in, but now it's a much smoother ride. I'm super happy with the airbag kit, and I'm very much looking forward to either towing with this and what that'll mean, and also just taking it off-road now that we've got some airbags in the back. It's definitely going to make it a much smoother ride. Don't forget, if you like this video, make sure you leave a comment and subscribe. Every comment, every subscribe, all really does help us out, and I truly do appreciate it. But that's all we've got time for in this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.